And good afternoon. Welcome to the Native News Today. Jason Salzman with Gerald Wofford. We thank you for joining us again for, I don't recall what program number this is for the Native News Today, but yeah, who knows? We just keep cruising along and bringing the great Native American stories that are happening out there. And we ventured over into Tjalagi country this past week. They had the election and some other things happening there, right?
Yes, for all of you not familiar with what he just said, those are Cherokee country. He brought a little authenticity to the program today. Nice job. I like when you do that. That's good stuff. Now, we went over to Cherokee country, the Capitol Complex in Tahlequah, and we're able to visit with, I don't know, the guy has a little bit to do with Cherokee Nation. I mean, he's not really that much out there in the spotlight, but Chad Smith, he's the principal chief of the Cherokee Nation, but no, just having a little fun there. He's principal chief. He makes everything go. You know, he stamps the paper, signs the name. Everything goes with Principal Chief Chad Smith, and he was just reelected at their elections, and we were able to talk to him and get his perspective on things. Really good guy.
Yeah, we're talking about some of the issues, and of course, as you know right now, Cherokee Nation is dealing with the Freedmen issue, and so he delves a little bit into that as well. So we'll be visiting with Chad Smith here in the program. And as Jason mentioned, other areas in Tahlequah were also covered. The Cherokee Museum, they've got a play going on there.
Cherokee Moon, Under the Cherokee Moon, basically running through August 18th, June 1st. It's already started, so through the month of June, and it's a big-time production there at the Cherokee Heritage Center. We were able to just go over there and kind of spotlight that unbelievable spot. If you haven't been there, you need to go. And also, we'll be bringing you another installment of our bow-making documentary with Mike Berryhill, and we'll spotlight and touch on the Native American National Boxing Amateur Championships coming up at the Osage $1 Million Elm Casino. All happening, and we'll spotlight it all on this week's edition of Native News Today.
We know why you play. Creek Nation Casino. Every Tuesday, play for $10,000 cash, a Hummer H3, and a key that could open a new home in South Tulsa. Plus, we're giving away 14 extra keys on the night we're giving away the American Dream Home, July 25th. Creek Nation Casino.
And welcome back to the Native News Today. Sio, Jason.
Oh, Sio.
Toedro?
Nihina.
Oh,
man.
Well, he's doing good, okay? That's what he said, Ost for us.
Yeah.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
Here. But hey, reason we came back into Cherokee Greeting is because Jared and Jason, our cameraman extraordinaire and producer, went over to Cherokee Country, visited with re-elected Principal Chief Chad Smith, and as well as visited the Cherokee Heritage Museum, right?
Yeah, we got it all in one day, but first we were able to talk to Chief Smith and talk about his re-election as Principal Chief of the Cherokee Nation and how proud it makes him to be able to be leader of that nation once again and to really see his vision come to life and be able to get spread out over the next few years. And really, it's about a team atmosphere, and that's what they have came up with, and that's their slogan really, is to advance the Cherokee Nation with community, language, and people, and that's how they do it.
Good doogie.
All right, we are here in Tahlequah, Oklahoma at the Capitol grounds of the Cherokee Nation with Mr. Chad Smith, the Principal Chief of the Cherokee Nation, and fresh off a re-election. And I know you got to be, for one, just basically relieved and glad for it to be over, but I know you've been so busy and glad to be still the leader of this great nation.
Well, actually, campaigns have two functions. One gets overshadowed. The first one is you get elected. But for us, that wasn't the big driver. The big driver is the campaign is actually a philosophical campaign. How can you get out your message and get people engaged? And for us, we have a long-term philosophy. We ought to become a happy and healthy people. And to get there, it's jobs, language, and community. And so as you campaign, talk to folks, is try to get them on board and engage with that overall philosophy so we can grow to become that happy and healthy people. And so we had a landslide victory. We had an initiative on the ballot to remove the BIA from our constitutional process, and that was an overwhelming vote too. And so what we understand now is our people want to work for the future. They want to invest that seed corn, leave something for their kids and their grandkids, and to take control of our own government and not allow the BIA to have any more say than necessary.
Your campaign slogan was Team Cherokee, and basically that touches on everything that you're about, which is, it wasn't just an election. It wasn't, hey, I just need to be chief again. It's, let's advance the Cherokee Nation and keep it moving forward. I know you like where it's at now, but it's moving forward, and that's what really Team Cherokee was about, was it not?
Exactly. You know, Sequoia High School is a soft spot in my heart because my dad graduated from there, and they've got a state championship basketball team. And the metaphor and the analogy is very clear. How can you advance the Cherokee Nation unless you have a team that works for that ultimate goal? You got to have people who work together and sit and talk and create hard, disciplined decisions, and that's what we've been striving for.
You touched on some of the things that you all wanted to accomplish here, and one of them, as you mentioned, was the BIA and getting them out of the Cherokee Matters. And what were some of the ways that the Cherokee Nation was able to accomplish that?
Well, it's been a long, hard struggle. We've been challenged by 4 heads of the BIA promising to remove themselves from our constitutional approval process. And so we're closer to that. And to some degree, folks would say, well, approving our Constitution is not a big deal, but it really is. You know, if we're going to be a government, we ought to act like a government. And with a resounding vote to remove them, our people are saying exactly that. We are a government. We should make our own decisions. We should forge our own future and not be subject to the whims and the patronage and the paternalism of a federal bureaucracy. So that's a big step.
Sure. And one of the things that when you talked about Constitution and the Cherokee Constitution specifically, has been in the national headlines. You can look on CNN.com even, and Cherokee Nation is showing up, and it's been the Freedmen issue, and I know that's been an issue that everybody has liked to cover, and I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you about it. And really, just to clarify out there, it's you guys have a strong stance on that, and it's one that you believe that all Cherokees are behind.
Well, my position has always been it's the people's decision. It's not mine, not the courts, not the councils. Our people voted on it in 1975 and again in 2003 to require some Cherokee ancestry to be part of the Cherokee Nation. To be an Indian, you be part of an Indian tribe, you need to be part Indian, which is not a novel concept. And so our people voted on it again in March of 2007, and by a 77% vote, they said yeah. And I think when you get to our people, they're very warm and open-hearted people, and it doesn't matter what you look like, how dark or light you are, or your background and such, as long as you have that common Cherokee ancestry, they accept you and they embrace you. And all this vote said is that you just have to have a little Indian blood to be part of the Cherokee Nation. We have the most inclusive membership requirements, and it all goes back to common ancestry.
Talk about some of the new things you guys have going on, some of the plans and the workings. I know a couple of weeks ago we highlighted Toby Keith's I Love This Bar and Grill up at the Cherokee Casino in Tulsa, but that thing's always growing, and I know your enterprises, you guys are very proud of that. It's growing as well, too. Talk about some of the new things and plans you have.
Well, actually, the strategy stays the same. Jobs has become economically self-reliant. Language is revitalize your language and act and think Cherokee. The last one's community, to help our communities bind themselves back together so they can help each other out. So that philosophy and strategy will continue. Perhaps the thing I'm most interested in doing now is how to best encourage that strategy. And I'm going to be focusing on leadership and education. Because basically leadership, if you're at point A, how do you get to point B? And it's just not a function of elected officials, it's a function of kids and high schoolers and elderly in all of our communities. So that's really an exciting thing we'll be focusing on in the next few years.
Well, Chief, you certainly do a wonderful job here, and getting everybody in the team atmosphere like we talked about, and moving the Cherokee Nation forward. And we certainly wish you all the best of luck with that in your next term here. And also want to wish give you a congratulations for winning the election again.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, our thanks to Principal Chief Chad Smith, and congratulations to him and the other council members. They also had the council election over the weekend.
Hey, how do you say congratulations, sir? Yeah. Good job.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
Well,
yeah, that's easy.
anyway,
My fault.
let's just thank you here.
Yeah.
So anyway, you also got a chance to visit the Heritage Museum there, right?
Yeah, just off Highway 62 in Tahlequah, right down there in the by the river bottoms, I guess you could say, and beautiful place.
The edge of the Ozarks.
Yes,
if you
I
could
think
say.
I saw the graveyards of Old Dan and Little Ann with the red fern sprouting between the two of them.
Now, for you old schoolers out there, you know what he's talking about. Young schoolers, think past Eminem or 50
You're
Cent.
right.
Talking about Where the Red Fern Grows, classic book, children's book.
Definitely. But no, we went down there in the Cherokee Heritage Center. If you've never seen this place, it's absolutely outstanding. And Carrie Tilley, the executive director, does a wonderful job, and they were able to open the doors and let us come in and get a sneak peek.
What the visitors do, they come and tour the Cherokee National Museum, which is an indoor exhibit featuring the Trail of Tears exhibit, which is an award-winning, nationally acclaimed exhibit, and then a rotating exhibit that changes about every 3 months. And now, after they tour the inside of the museum, they can tour the grounds, and one of the really big draws for people, and has been for 40 years, is the Ancient Village, where we have a reconstructed Cherokee village from the 1500s, before European contact. And people can go through the village, see how the architecture looks, see what kind of houses, see the council house. They learn about Cherokee culture, and they learn about traditional arts and crafts as they go through and see some demonstrated. Another thing we have is Adams Corner Rural Village, which is a Cherokee community or Cherokee town from the Indian Territory days, the 1880s or so. And it's a reconstructed village where you can learn about a later period in Cherokee life. We've got a pretty busy summer, and one of the big things we're doing is a new dramatic presentation called Under the Cherokee Moon. Now, this is historical dinner theater. It's not in the old amphitheater. It's held in starts out in the Adams Corner Rural Village, and is set in the late 19th century with a one-woman show featuring Lorette Willis, who basically presents these characters, two Cherokee characters, and the way that they talk about their life, their reminiscences of life in the Indian Territory, starting with removal of the Trail of Tears. And then the second act goes back another 100 years to the 1770s, where the Cherokee Council is debating whether to go to war against the Americans or to remain neutral. And so a lot of the historic figures appear and give their speeches and their point of view, and it's a very historically accurate debate, and it's also pretty dramatic. We get pretty strong visitation. I think around 40,000 was our number from last year. We have a lot of people that are interested, a lot of people that are Cherokees that are interested in their own culture and history more so than the culture, but just seeing what's happened. But then a lot of people that are curious about the Cherokee people, and they want to know more, and they come here to find out. So we get people from all 50 states and from various countries throughout the world, and have been for 40 years. At one point in time, we were the most visited tourist destination in Oklahoma. And so we've got a long history. We're proud of it. This year we're actually celebrating our 40th anniversary. And we opened the village in 1967 and ran it continuously since then. So on June 30th, we are going to have a reunion, invite all the ancient villagers, all the people that we used to work in the village, back for a hog fry and a time to celebrate with us.
And we continue on with our documentary featuring Muskogee Creek artist Mike Berryhill and the art of bow making.
The art of bow making, that's right. It's not just some silly hobby he goes out and does.
Not just
really
a fad, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
not like MMA or anything.
No,
just kidding.
Oh, golly. The guy throws in the MMA. Dissing the MMA.
I'm just kidding.
Okay,
I'm just kidding.
no.
All right.
Seriously, Mike Berryhill, he's been working on this particular bow for this instructional documentary that Jared's been working on for quite some time now, and it's all finished almost. And Jared actually, through the magic of television, you won't see it yet, but Jared actually got to go shoot it and everything like that. So we'll be bringing that in the coming
So we're
months.
seeing the director's cut.
We're seeing the director's cut, without a doubt. This is like the limited edition,
Tarantino.
special cover, DVD, whatever, all you want to say.
Special Softkey edition.
Absolutely, yes. This is the special Softkey edition of this DVD, and Mike Berryhill is just about finished, and we're bringing it to you right here on Native News Today.
chewed on that for quite some time since I've been making bows. Good for her teeth, I guess.
I guess.
Well, maybe she might think that that's what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's
just
helping
joining
you.
in.
She's helping you.
Okay, we've eliminated a considerable amount of wood on both sides of the back of the bow, as you can see. Now we're going to go to the belly and remove quite a bit. So what I want to do, I usually mark these lines here for a reference point. What I mean by that is that if I want this handle and the thickness to be, say, so thick, right there, say, that's where I want to be. And I may not know if I don't mark my lines here, if I'll be up here or down here. It's just a center reference to let me know where I'm at when I remove that belly wood. On the back of the bow, you have to maintain that one growth ring, because that's where all your pressure is, on the back of that bow. If you go through, like I said before, you create a weak area and it probably will break or blow up at some time or another. On the belly, this part will look comparable to what this looks like after I get all the belly wood off. And you're going through several growth rings to maintain a tapering. So you got interrupted growth rings that you have cut through when you do that tillering process. But being that it's compressed, it's
not stressed.
right. It's not stressed on the back. It's compressed. But if I strung it this way, buddy, watch out, it'll break. Always remember this. The back is always away from you, and the belly is to your belly. That way you won't string it wrong. You have to really become familiar with a bow if you're shooting it a lot, and most bowyers will after time, even if not, they hadn't been around a stick bow. Always remember, if you strung it backwards, that's like me, I'll break my back if I go over too far, or something's gonna happen critical, and that's just like the back of this bow.
But you can bend over and touch your toes the other direction. And the bow's the
Yeah,
same
you
way.
bet. There you go.
Usually though, if you don't go back there, it's not gonna get it. Mike, you want to talk to us and tell us why you went to the hatchet right there?
Okay. Sometimes some cured out boat arc is harder than others are. If you've got a lot of bulk to remove on a belly, go to a hatchet. Using a hatchet is a little more risky. You need to be a little more safe to yourself, and you can chop out too much wood, like I said before. Just make sure you don't get too carried away with it. Once you get to a point to where you need to stop, go ahead and stop there and go to the drawing knife again.
So it's probably a better idea for a novice
Yeah.
to try to avoid using the hatchet.
To avoid using it as much as possible. The more experience you get, you'll get your nerve to try to hatchet.
All right, faster than the proverbial Oklahoma scissor-tail flycatcher can fly off into the air. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Native News Today.
Today's world is far different than the one our ancestors knew. But though times have changed, we the Muskogee Creek people remain a strong people. Many of our traditions continue to thrive in today's modern world. For 1,000 years and more we have been here, and we will be here for 1,000 more. Times have changed, but so have we, and the Muskogee Creek people are a part of this time, this country, and this economy.
All right, we continue with the Native News Today, and we're talking about the area of sports. And Jason mentioned that he has the Eye of the Tiger clan. Is that right?
The Eye of the, Tiger Clan.
Or
Sure.
Tiger
Sounds
Mountain.
Good.
Hey, all this is alluding to the sport of boxing. And we want to talk about a special event that's happening next week, July 5th, 6th, and 7th, the 2007 National Native American Boxing Championships happening in Tulsa, Oklahoma. First time ever this unique event has been here in the state, and we want to welcome everyone to come on out and to enjoy some great Olympic-style amateur boxing.
Yeah, if you're cruising on that LL Tisdale Expressway in Tulsa, you're not doing anything, just jump off at the $1 Million Elm Casino, July 5th through the 7th. And like Gerald said, this is historic. You know, it's never happened in the state of Oklahoma. And we're going to have Olympic-style boxing, the headgear, the striped gloves, all that good stuff that you always see. You know, before you saw Oscar De La Hoya become who he is, he was an Olympic boxer. Before Sugar Ray was who he was an Olympic boxer. And those guys all went on, won gold medals. And, well, some of them, you know, had the controversial decisions and everything like that in the Olympics. Hopefully that won't happen at the Native American tournament, because they're all Native Americans, no bias, just great entertainment and skill right there in the ring.
Now, you're seeing some footage from the Arizona Boxing Championships there, Native American boxers that were featured there. These same boxers are going to be at this tournament next week in Tulsa. And as we mentioned, that's 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday evening, 7 p.m. Great thing about it, all the admission, there is no admission. It's all free, open to the public. Want everyone to come out, enjoy, support these kids. These Indian kids are coming from all over the country as well as Canada to fight in this very unique boxing tournament. So as Jason mentioned, 4th of July be all over, be winding down, something to do. Come on out, enjoy some great Native American boxing and support these kids.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier today. We were doing our radio show, and we talked about the the connection and everything, and the family atmosphere that it really has, and it's always been that way with the clubs and things like that. And it's gone back for many, many years. And we even got a caller today talking about how, you know, there's those little stories out there that nobody even really talks about or tells or anything like that, but they're there. And it's things like these, events like these, that bring back all of that. So it's a good thing.
And some of the further footage you see here on the screen is from the documentary When I Hear Thunder. It's a special program about Native American boxers, the amateur program that goes on. So again, 5th, 6th, and 7th, Osage $1 Million Elm Casino, the event center right next to it there in Tulsa. Come on out and enjoy some great Native American boxing. Well, that's going to wrap up our program here, and as always, we thank you for joining us here, but we're going to just be talking about this and some other events going on as well throughout the rest of next month. I mean, kind of 4th of July and everything. You got some plans for the 4th of July, Jason?
I don't know. I mean, the huge there's a huge fireworks display down in Eufaula every year, and it's like their big thing, and I'll probably check that out and maybe eat some watermelon or, you know, play in the lake or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. I definitely won't be, you know, acting up and being rowdy or anything like that. I don't do any of that kind of stuff.
You gonna eat some fry bread or something maybe?
Probably. If there's, I mean, if it's around, yeah, I'm gonna eat it. I won't eat it. I'll like inhale it.
Okay.
Like the fried bread monster. Me want fried bread.
That's
I'm
right.
sorry.
Hey,
That doesn't exist.
As we get into the fall months, if you will, and leave summer behind us,
Yeah.
man, we're going to try to talk him into continuing his quest and finding the perfect fry bread. He needs to do that.
I'll pick up the reins or something.
Fans have been crying for that.
I lost the motivation. I just didn't have it anymore, you know?
If you lose the motivation for fry bread, you got to
Nobody was making it.
You got to get the eye of the tiger
Okay,
back.
I got to get the
Eye of the Tiger Mountain.
exactly.
You got to get that back.
And there's a cave up there that
nobody's ever
I'm
seen.
telling you, I found it when I was a kid, and I've never told anybody, and I never will.
So nobody knows. So if you're watching, just
except all of you out there.
put that
now
mind
know.
erasing, techno thing on your head and just forget what he said.
Yeah, the Men in Black, the little pin they hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. All right, man.
So anyway, well, that's going to wrap up our program this afternoon. And as always, we thank you for joining us. Keep sending us those great Native American stories out there. We want to put them, all we want to do is put them on the air here and let everybody see them and give everyone a chance to brag about what's happening out there in Indian country.
Sure, it's all going on, and we like to highlight everything. You know, we got a little bit of everything on here. So, I mean, if you have something out there and you think it's interesting, we might think it's interesting too, but then again, we might not. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. We think everything's interesting.
For our producer, Jared Moore, and our summer interns, I guess you could say, Darren Rock and Matt Davis.
No, we don't need to mention those guys.
Okay.
Come on.
Our other producer, Josh Lane, who's taking a little V time this week. Jason Salzman, I'm Gerald Wofford. In the meantime, take care. God bless. We'll see you soon.